Welcome back to Seriously Funny. I'm your host, Mash Nur Kabir, and I live on the moon. Today, we're going to teach you how to be a failure from a professional failure. I'm going to tell you how to live a life where you amount to nothing. Before that, let's talk about an anime that shares that sentiment. I've been watching March Comes In Like a Lion. It's an absolutely spectacular anime with strange art style, but it feels like you're watching a play. You're really going through a story of a professional shogi player living life, and you really start relating to the guy. Maybe I do, at least. I love the anime. It's really, really cool. It's really just this beautiful, cohesive story that like melds into itself, and every episode is really just a continuation of the story, and it's really well done. So yeah, maybe you want to give it a watch. There we go. March Comes In Like a Lion. I give it the recommend. I'm not done yet. I'm halfway through season one, but yeah. Other than that, what do we got going next week? Other than chem test, I think I'm generally doing all right. Finals are gonna start soon, so hopefully that happens because that means school's out and I can just worry about studying for finals rather than having to do a bunch of dumb work for a bunch of classes. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get on to what everyone's waiting for. Of course, this guide to being a failure. I don't think this episode's going to get too many views, but we're going to do it anyways. The first step we got is do something, but do nothing. Some people may think that doing absolutely nothing, just going ahead, being homeless, doing nothing, not getting out of bed in the morning, just laying there and being a piece of garbage, quite literally, makes you a failure. I disagree. That makes you a loser, and that's different. Losers are a different brand. No one wants to be a loser. We're here to be a failure. So we have to work a job, any job, whatever. It could be a dead end job. It could be McDonald's. It could be a basic office job. You could be a middle class dude, lower class, doesn't matter. But work a job. Maybe you're just going to school and studying something you don't actually care about. But we have to work some job that we absolutely hate that lets us pay the bills. I guess if it's college, you're not really paying the bills, you're losing your bills. But that's what we're doing. We have to do something that's just meaningless. We have to do something that doesn't actually amount to anything for us, and we're just doing it because existence and to keep perpetuating our existence, because that's something we got to do. And so, that's part of doing something and doing nothing. Everything you do end up doing, school, your job, don't do it well. Don't try too hard. If you're in school, and you have a bunch of classes, don't wake up early for the classes. Just maybe you don't even want to go to class. Then you just don't go. Wake up whenever you want to. Wake up late in the afternoon because you gamed all night. Wake up so late in the day that you feel like the day is gone and you can't do anything anymore. That's where we want to get to. Right? So if you wake up late enough, you'll just feel like, wow, well, the day's over. I just slept through the entire thing. Might as well go play more games. Might as well go do something dumb, right? So that's going to help us be a failure. And so speaking of video games, do whatever your impulses say. Do you want to eat that entire tub of ice cream? Go for it. You want to call out of work and play that new video game? Fabulous. You told yourself that you'd go to the gym, but you want to finish that Netflix series called The Peaky Blinders? Then you finish that series, daggone it. All right, you do whatever your impulses say to do. When you have an impulse to do something, you follow that impulse like it is Simon and Simon Says, okay? You listen to whatever your brain conjures up in that moment that it wants to do. All right? You don't ever actually follow through with anything if you don't want to. Yeah, you don't do anything you don't want to. Why would you do that except for existing at that dead end job? But just make sure that whatever you do, it doesn't feel substantial or meaningful to your life in any way, shape, or form. We want to live a life. We want to be existing where we just exist. That's the only point that we bring to the table. That's it. We are neutral. Maybe we're not neutral. Maybe we're even negative. All right, society, we don't need to contribute too much. We just have to be a cog in the machine to make sure that we're living, and that's about it. So that's what we're going to do as step one to be a failure. Do something, but don't actually do anything. It's like how someone can talk a lot without saying anything. You're going to do a lot, well, not even do a lot. You're going to do some stuff without actually doing any of that stuff, right? So that's the goal here. That's kind of the the route that we're gonna go down. And this guide, it's really hard to do all of this. I understand. If you are coming from a point where many of you can't relate to this, I'm sure all of you wake up at 4 in the morning and go out on a run, but you want to be a professional failure, and so that's what we're here for. And this might be tough to follow this entire guide, but it'll be worth it. I promise. You will be a very good failure by the end of it. All right. Speaking of that, let's go on then to that next step. Step two here. Don't try to move forward, get better, or take opportunities. Always let the anxiety win. Were you offered an opportunity to lead a project that could lead to a raise at work? Did your few acquaintances that you call friends because you don't have anyone else close enough to actually call friends ask you to go out with them? Did you read a book or watch a video that inspired you to better yourself? You probably didn't read a book. You're a failure. You don't read books. Did you watch a video that inspired you to better yourself? So, let's just run through this. If you take that job opportunity, what if you mess up? What if you get fired? Oh, that would suck. If you go out with friends, then you have to get out of your house, and you don't really feel like it. You just want to play video games. So you tell them, I'm busy, right? What if you go over there and you look uninterested and they like get mad at you and then they stop talking to you, you know? And if you're watching that video that inspires you to be better, isn't that person in the video like some rich loser already? Like, can you really follow their advice? Are you ever gonna be as good as them? They're rich and successful and cool. You're a failure. How are you gonna do that? So, all of these anxieties, just fall victim to them. Just go ahead and embrace them, and follow those anxieties. Don't take that opportunity at work. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's so much work. It's so hard. It's so challenging. No, don't try to get better in life. That's worthless. Why would you try to do that? It's no. That's well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we just live life and we're trying to get by. We're just existing. I guess that's the moral of the failure story. Just existing. And so, that's all we're trying to do here. We're not gonna get better. Maybe we're not gonna get worse because that's too hard too. We're just gonna stay where we are. But no getting better, no reading the self-help stupid books. Honestly, you should just stop watching those self-help YouTube videos. Go watch Netflix. Go watch anime. Go watch March Comes In Like a Lion instead. Don't worry about anything that could help you in life. That's stupid. That it seems easy and they all make it look easy, but it's so hard to actually get better and be better and all of that dumb stuff that sucks. We don't want to do that. Um, you know, Opportunities to get better. That's good for people with a lot of time, right? But you're busy and you wake up too late to keep any commitments, anyways. Just make excuses after excuses and then some more excuses and let the thoughts that tell you why you shouldn't do anything win and live your life by those thoughts because that's all we can do. All we can do is live our life just following the thoughts that tell us, oh, we shouldn't do that. We can't do that. Oh, it's not worth it to do. I'm busy. I can't do anything. So that's how we're going to live our life. That's how we're going to go ahead and uh, exist. So that's step two. Don't try to move forward, get better, or take opportunities. Always let the anxiety win. Yeah, again, this one really, really hard. A lot of people, they have this great drive inside of them to really be meaningful and lead a meaningful existence in life, and so they try to get better and they always take opportunities, but nah, we're failures. We don't do that. We just sit there, let the fear, the excuses engulf us, and we go ahead and only follow those fears, anxieties, excuses. Oh, those are the good ones. And so the next thing we got here is to think. It's to think a lot. We all have a bunch of questions that come up, right? We all think about those. How did I get here? What's the point of this? What does it all mean? All those really deep, deep questions. The philosophical ones. Those nice, hard questions to answer. And you see, the people that get life, that understand life, that really, really, again, just get it. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Those people, they're able to answer those questions. Those successful people, maybe they do know how they got there. Maybe they do know what it all means, and maybe they do know the answer to the other effing questions I asked. But you, me, we're failures. We don't, sometimes, when we're laying in bed at night, going to sleep way too late, uh, we think, wow, what the frick is the point of this? But actually, even thinking that is a waste of your time. To answer that question is really, 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 really hard. And figuring out the answer to any of those questions it takes so much time and thought and effort and energy. And we don't have that time and effort and energy. We have a bunch of we have good things to do, like go to work and not take opportunities, like playing video games, like eating that tub of ice cream, like watching that anime. We have important things to do, and so questions that are as silly or inane as what does this all mean? That's useless. So this one's gonna be hard, but just don't ask those questions anymore. And whenever they do come up, just throw them away. Don't think about them anymore. When you're laying in bed at night because you gave yourself insomnia because you drank too much G Fuel while playing games at night and now you can't go to bed, don't let your thoughts take you down a rabbit hole of how you suck. You know, uh, no, you should actually. I lied. Yeah, you should do that. You should go down the rabbit hole of how you suck. But you don't go down the rabbit hole of meaning and purpose and life. That's dumb. That's not worth it. But feeling sorry for yourself and feeling worthless and feeling like a waste bin, uh, like a broken waste bin, because good trash cans are useful, but you're a useless trash can. So just do think about that when you're laying in bed. Really just say, wow, I suck. I'm so bad at everything I do. Holy crap, I can't achieve anything in my life. I've done nothing. I don't even go, I don't take opportunities at work. I lead my life by anxiety. That's what we want to think about, that stuff constantly. And the reason that you play video games and eat that tub of ice cream is probably because you're trying to escape those thoughts. But you realize it's futile because doing all of those things feeds the thoughts more and it makes you more of a failure. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want right there. So we are just going to keep feeling sorry for ourselves and go ahead and not do any of that. And then next, we have just people. It's all about who you know, not what you know, right? And so we're not going to make real friends, real connections, and we're just going to go ahead and assume that everyone's out to get us. Everyone has horrible intentions. Everyone has a fake smile all the time. No one actually cares about you or anything except for themselves. We're going to go ahead and just say that everyone sucks. We're just going to say that people suck. That right there is a good failure mindset. We're gonna assume the worst of people. We're not gonna try to forgive people. That's too hard. We're just gonna go ahead and hold the grudges and remember those times when someone screws you over, because those people, they suck. And we're gonna make some more excuses and say the reason that you are where you are, when you're going down and hating on yourself, just go ahead and say, it's the fault of other people in the past that screwed me over. Just think about those past people in your life and how they're the reason that you're a failure. And just think about how much you hate them and how much they suck, and how much if you just would have known that they sucked, and how naive you were to trust someone ever in your life, because people can't be trusted. People are all horrible and bad and disgusting and gross, and they all suck, and we just shouldn't listen to people, talk to people, look at people for more than superficial reasons. Every time someone talks, it's really just to make small talk because they're afraid of the silence, because they're weird and they can't accept that whatever, the losers. We don't want to be losers. Again, we're failures. We're classy failures. And so, you just remember that. All the people, they're out to get you. They all have malicious intent. They all suck. And they're all just horrible. And that's, another step and a very good, important part of being a failure. And now the final part in being a failure is contemplating how things could be or would have been. Like I said, with people in the past, if you never got screwed by that person, just think about how it would have been if you never had gotten that, or if you never went through that one thing, or if you didn't do that one regret that you constantly have. Make sure you hold all of your regrets. Make sure you regret everything. Very important for being a failure. Um, that regret that you have. What if you didn't do that? Or, maybe you regret not doing something. What if you did that? Just think about how things could be or would be. Think about how life would be if you did take that job opportunity after the job opportunity is gone. Think about how you did it well in this alternate reality in your head, where you got the raise and everyone hosted you up on a pedestal, and then you just suddenly became the boss and it was great. Think about an alternate universe where you're cool. You are the glue that holds your friend group together, and how everyone loves and respects you. Think about what life would be like if things went differently. If you studied that thing you wanted to in school, if you tried that business that you thought of, think about what life would be like if you weren't a failure. That will help you become a real failure right there. Contemplating the life where you have that hot spouse, where you have that big house, those nice cars, and everything in the world, all the money, the six pack, everything. Think about that life constantly, and how you could have been that, how life could have been that, and just contemplate and fantasize constantly, incessantly, without stop, just what life could have been, what life may have been. But unfortunately, we come back to reality and we realize, that we are failures. That all of those alternate realities you created in your head, where you had that hot spouse, the good job, the great friends, the successful life, none of it actually exists. Because you have none of those things. You wake up too late. You let your anxiety and fear drive you. You avoid improving yourself. You think about what things could be instead of working on the things that are. And with all of this, you can finally become a very successful failure. And that is what I came here to teach you. And that is hopefully what I have taught you. right there. How to be a failure. This is a really hard guide. It took a long time to think about, how all of this would work and how to become a failure. As a professional failure myself, passing this knowledge down was something I probably had to do, and so I thought about it for a while, just for all of you, and I made this guide to being a failure. Anyways, that is all for this episode of Seriously Funny. I hope you enjoyed. This one was probably the greatest one I've made so far. Probably my most applicable and pragmatic, practical guide yet, to be honest. We could have made the guide on how to be a loser, but that's not too hard. Just don't do anything ever. Just be useless, like a sock with holes in it. But yeah, this is a guide on how to be a failure. Hopefully, it helps some of you achieve your dreams of being a failure. Thank you for listening. From one failure to another, I love you just the way